All right, so the main topic we have on this episode is all about collector's editions. If you've been listening to the rest of the episode, if you're checking out the videos, basically, we're going to talk about board games and video games and the collector's editions that they come out with, such things as what kind of components we like in both, which we don't like, some of our favorite collector's editions, things like that. So let's start with tabletop games and the collector's editions of those. I mean, I guess you could include RPGs if you have any of those. I have one. We'll see. Matt.
Yes.
Do you like collector's editions?
You know, I do, but I don't like paying for them.
Now, if they were free,
they always look amazing. They're very high quality and all this. But I don't think I own one collector edition of any board game. There's one I wanted, which was Takenoko, just because it was
like
huge.
$300?
That was $300. Yeah, right. So I never got it.
So I'm going to add real quick. So now I think, besides, quote, collector edition ones, almost a lot of the Kickstarters that come out now can be considered collector edition ones because they have additional bling to them or additional stuff that's not incorporated into the base vanilla game
components.
That's fair. I mean, it is interesting to include Kickstarter in this because everything I started thinking of is Kickstarter exclusive,
right?
And whether or not it's marketed as a collector's edition, it is exclusive to the point where it's only in one version of the game,
right?
Which is super limited, probably more so than collector's editions are normally. I don't know. I don't like that specifically because it's it's a timed event that happens before you usually even know about the game at all. And unlike video games, it's not as advertised, I guess. So you're not going to come across it as much, especially like lower publishers or like people who that's their first game. It's very unlikely that you're going to know it's there. Whereas if it's a Kickstarter that's in a store, or not a collector's edition that you see a board game in a store on a shelf, you're like, oh, I could buy the regular game or the collector's edition.
Right. You have the choice then.
I have the choice then. So I don't know. So I guess we'll leave the Kickstarter stuff out of it unless it specifically says it's a collector's edition or something. Because maybe the collector's edition will still make it to retail. It's just that maybe it's cheaper in the Kickstarter campaign. So, I don't know. What do you think? Are they worth it? This is a very different question for board games and video games. But let's talk about board games. Do you think collector's editions are worth it?
I think it's worth it if, it was one of your favorite games. Definitely if money is no object, yeah, why not? But
well, that's true. I can apply that to a lot of things.
Sure. But, yeah, if you're going to spend the time, if you want it to hit the table, if you enjoy the game a lot, you're going to get your money's worth. Yeah, I think splurge a little and get the collector's edition.
Eric brings up a good point. If you're going to get your money's worth, because a lot of people don't play board games a ton of times. I mean,
and some people play one board game
365 times.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Such as the Terraforming Mars.
Yeah. Pick it up, bling it out.
Yeah. It's interesting because now people have the 10 by 10 list where it's like play 10 games 10 times a piece. I mean, 10 times in a year.
Yeah.
There's some games, like video games, I play like every single day. So it's interesting the difference between video and board games. But what do you think, Matt? What do you think?
Essentially what Eric said. Like I said, personally, I do not own a collector's edition. The only time I would consider it is if it was a game that that came out to the table, pretty often. Then yeah, that justifies you'll get your time out of it to pay the extra cash. So you're probably paying about 5, 6, 7 times more than what the base game costs. So.
And that makes sense. So, piggybacking off of that, what do you think about collector edition? What do you like that they come with, and what don't you like that they come with? I know one of Eric's metal coins.
You don't like the metal coins?
No, he does. He does.
Tim does not.
You don't? What?
No, I don't, because the cost difference doesn't justify a ton of metal coins for me.
We're going collector's edition.
Yeah,
we're going bling bling.
I was gonna say if it's something I play a lot, then I could easily just kind of ignore that. I guess maybe from a money standpoint, I see what you're saying, but
not worth the additional cost for you. Yeah, for you.
Yeah, not usually. Even in a collector's edition, I like collector's editions to come with.
Well, if you have like themed money versus
That's fair. That could be cool.
yeah,
Or if it's actually like metal versions of the coins that are chits. That's kind of cool.
right.
Which I guess most time they are.
Yeah. If they were just generic, just metal slugs or something,
Yeah.
or yeah,
yeah.
I like the metal coins where it's also thematic.
Well,
No.
other than metal coins, though, what else do you like or dislike about collector's editions?
Maybe if it has standees or something, you upgrade to actual
Miniatures.
miniatures or something like that would be pretty cool.
That would be cool.
Pre-painted miniatures are always nice.
Yeah, do you think that? I mean,
I do.
let's step away from the cost and just assume, without assuming that everybody has $1,000 to spend on every board game. Realistically, what do you like to?
One of the definites for me is upgraded components. Instead of wooden bits, it's not standard wooden bits.
Kind of like Everdell.
Right. Yeah, something that brings it up, another notch.
Like where each resource is made of the resource type that it's representing.
It's actual berry preserved.
Yeah.
It's
It's dehydrated.
or it's like one of those like clay ones or whatever, like the fake food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like upgraded components. I don't, like I was saying in the Everdell talk, I think that cubes being upgraded to cutouts or shaped wooden pieces doesn't constitute an upgrade to me, even though I know financially it's an upgrade on the game because it does cost them more money. But a silhouette of a carrot is not that much more it's entertaining to me more so than a cube that's orange.
Right.
But I don't feel like that's collector's edition worthy.
Oh yeah, it had to be
That's like
screen
standard.
printed or not just in a shape.
That's a good one. Screen print.
Or actually not cut out into the shape of it, but actually look like a carrot. Have the carrot shape with a little greenery on top.
Like it's a cylindrical
Right.
carrot.
Mm-hmm.
Or if like a brick of gold, it's a 3D brick of gold
Right.
rather than just like a flat shape that kind of looks like something.
Exactly.
Yeah. But the screen printing is a really good one. I actually kind of thought about that or forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some games where I have screen printed meeples, and that's awesome. I like because it's completely unnecessary, and that's like kind of the stuff that I like in a collector's edition.
Right.
Or promos, like type of cards. I like that too. Like, here's 10 more cards that you're not going to get in the base game.
Right. Or also, on top of that, a lot of times they go back and incorporate stuff that's out of print or, mini expansions that are no longer available.
Like in the Year of the Dragon.
Mm-hmm. They'll include it into the special edition or collector's edition.
I think that one's an anniversary edition, but I get your
Right.
point. Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't like, here's one that I kind of brought up that I don't like is Sword Crafters. Fantastic game. The quote unquote collector's edition, it's called the expanded edition. And I think it's super limited, and it might be more like limited as far as Kickstarter, but I almost feel like I wouldn't buy the game if it didn't come with all that stuff because the components were literally like half the game rules, and they were like two of the modules of the 3 were the best thing about the game. Super good. Not saying the game's bad without it. It was fun. It was enjoyable, but man, it had so much good. So not being able to buy that stuff separately is problematic to me. I don't think that's collector's material.
I know we're kind of stepping away from Kickstarter, but it's kind of the same thing where you have a Kickstarter game that adds maybe components, and then you can't have those components anymore. So you're like, I don't even want the base game anymore because I'm missing out on stuff that's in a collector's edition or stuff that's in a Kickstarter edition.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about sleeves for board games?
No, sleeves don't do anything for me for a box.
It keeps the game shut, Eric. You don't need rubber bands.
That is true, but mine go on a shelf, and I have no problem with them opening up anyway.
Yeah, me neither. I like the Boss Monster Collector's Edition. I bought that.
With the Boss Monster, they did. It looks a little different. Is it a sleeve or is it a?
It's a sleeve.
Okay.
So it's very pixel art Nintendo style. the base box kind of looks like a Nintendo artwork, like the Nintendo game.
Yep.
But the sleeve is like a gold foil cover, kind of
Right.
like you're buying Legend of Zelda
Right.
Gold
Yeah.
Edition. So, like, that was cool. But yeah, I mean, the sleeves I could take or leave. It's not really that big of a deal to me. It is neat to have, though. You know, one thing that Between Two Cities did was they had like a limited print stamp. It's like the first 1,500
Oh.
copies or something.
Yeah, that does nothing for me there.
You know, it's funny now that we're sitting here talking about it. I don't know that board game. I don't know. They're collector's editions. I guess it's just essentially upgraded components.
Yeah,
most of the time in it, right?
It is vastly different than the conversation we're going to have in a minute about video games, which is probably going to be the bigger part of this. But yeah, collector's editions for board games are really just how much stuff can you get that you're never going to get again. You know, like, I think the screen printing might be one of my favorite things because it's so simple of an upgrade. It doesn't change a lot. It doesn't physically alter anything. Well, it physically alters everything, but it doesn't change gameplay.
Right. Yeah.
You know, but metal coins, same thing. I mean, it doesn't change gameplay. That just usually has a hefty cost associated with it. Whereas screen printing, I don't think really adds that much. But you can still add collector's edition. Bam.
Right.
Make it nice. Matt, you got anything else on that?
No, like I said, it's weird with the collector's editions for board games because it's essentially just an upgraded component list.
Yeah.
So,
yep. I think Between Two Cities kind of included more little city tokens than normal, but they're not needed. You know, because you can only play 7 players, so you're going to only have that many, and it has like 12 in it or something. So, well, let's talk about video games and those collector's editions, because this is going to be dramatically different.
yes.
So we're going to skip Are They Worth It? And just go straight to the what do you like and what do you hate? Because I feel like that's going to tell us what if they're worth it or not.
Right.
Nat, let's talk about you, because you seem to be excited about a lot of collector's
You know,
editions.
it's weird. I didn't realize you can pretty much get a collector's edition for any game that is out there.
Yeah, Ultimate Edition, Collector's Edition. What are they called?
Game of the Year
Game of
editions.
the Year.
Yeah,
right.
Game of the Year editions. Yeah, so I mean there's all kinds of different editions of these games. Unfortunately, I love maps and I love art books. That's usually what comes with a lot of these things. So to me, I'm not going to get every one, but for a game that I really like and enjoy, I could totally have no problem with getting some of these.
Would you go back and get it? Like, you already own the base game, but go back and buy the Collector's Edition for the artwork and
Possibly, yeah.
Okay.
Because like I said, I really enjoy maps for some reason. I've always liked maps. I like getting the game, you know, that
You're
the
talking
world
about,
I
like,
walked around in and
that you can hang up on your wall
Yeah.
or frame or
Yes.
something like that.
Yeah, a physical map, you know,
Gotcha.
outlaying of the world that you're in.
Mhm.
I noticed at PlayStation, like almost every game they have, you can get like a little statue with it.
Do you like those?
I mean, I wouldn't get a ton of them because you're going to run out of room. But I mean,
Yeah.
if it was something like I was really, you know, super into and geeked out about, then yeah, I
you
could see
spend
that.
a year, or, you know, even a couple months on this game, playing
Right.
this character, or
Yeah, because I one of them I saw was like for Horizon Zero Dawn. It was like it came with a little Aloy statue. I think you got like some little book with it, and then it gave you like some like in-game skins, and which isn't you know I don't know if that's like super awesome for gameplay or not, but it was just something extra to get with it.
Yeah, that's interesting that you brought that up. What do you think about DLC content included in collector's editions? Like, let's just say that's all it had. I mean, is that?
I mean, is that the only way you're going to get it, or
Let's say yes.
no, oh,
A lot of times, yeah, because they're
most
just
of the time
skins of
it's-
weapons and stuff.
okay,
right? That stuff. I mean, I don't.
It's not going to stop you from buying a normal copy.
It's not
of the
going to
game.
make me buy it. I
That's
know
fair.
that. So yeah, it's not going to stop me from buying the normal game just because it doesn't have these certain skins in it. That's whatever.
What about steel books?
Yeah, that was another one I saw.
Right.
Like I said, I'm a fan of the books, so I guess if it's a steel book, sure. Whatever.
Well, the
Like, I'm talking
steelbook
about,
is
like-
just a cover of the DVD case, or
Yeah, I'm talking about like the PS
game
like
case.
The game case is made of metal.
Oh, those things.
That kind of
Oh,
stuff.
that's right, because that came with the Final Fantasy 12 one I gave you. I don't care about that.
Nope,
No.
I don't either. Actually, I don't like the way that it looks on the shelf with the other PlayStation games.
because it's so different.
It is like super different.
yeah,
And I'm not, I mean, if it's the same, look, here's the thing about the difference between video games and board games. a lot of collector's editions of video games are still $60. They're just in limited quantities.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a collector's edition of a board game is usually more expensive.
Right. Also, collector's editions are games that come out way after the initial release, usually. Or a lot of times.
I think a lot of times they launch at the same time. The Game of the Year editions come out way later and they include all the DLC purchasable content.
Okay, never mind. There's
those are
there's
definitely
two.
worth it.
Those are phenomenal.
Yes,
But-
that is a good buy.
Yeah, if you're not going to get to a game that you know is going to get expansions, if you're not going to play it when you buy it, just don't play it. And
Yeah.
like a year and a half or 2 years from now, buy the Game of the Year
everything,
edition.
right?
Yeah, get it all at the same time.
$20 or $15.
Yeah, exactly. Now, there are some collector's editions that are ludicrous, such as Fallout, if you want a Pip-Boy. Stuff like that. Like, I don't know if I'd ever buy a $300 collector's edition for a game.
Wow.
Because it came with a Pip-Boy that you could put on your arm.
A Pip-Boy.
That would hold your.
It's like a wrist tablet. It's really.
Was it one of the ones you could put
1950s.
your phone in, or was it an actual, like it had a screen on it already?
I don't remember.
Because they had the ones you could stick your phone in because your phone would sync to Fallout.
Yes,
and
I
you
think
could-
that might have been the one, because the other one that you're talking about that acts like a Pip-Boy, that might have been the separate thing that didn't even come with the game.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I mean, I don't know. I tend to stray away from anything that's huge and comes with a lot of unnecessary stuff. Like statues. I know, like, if it's like one specific game, like my favorite game of the world, maybe
a statue.
Yeah.
I know there's some of them, like
how
there
am I know
was-
that game's going to be my collector?
there was
Like,
Call of Duty that came with a robot that went around, or that you drive around and had night vision.
oh, like in the game?
Like in game? Or...
No, it came in a box and you got a robot that you can
Well,
physically drive around.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd buy that, but I know like there was a Splinter Cell or there was a Rainbow Six game or Call of Duty, one of those three. They came with night vision goggles.
Mm-hmm.
One that caught my eye, actually, and I might buy this. It's for PlayStation 3. I never even owned a PlayStation 3, but it was the Borderlands 2 Collector's Edition. It came in a loot crate.
Yes.
And it came with that book you have. It cost like $150. What that book was already like $100.
Yeah.
On its own.
Art books are insane.
Yeah, and so I kind of saw that one. I was like, might be getting that. And it came with like a little Marcus bobblehead. I don't care about that. But yeah, I can't even play the game. I don't care. I just want the loot crate and that art book. So
I mean, that does. I guess if it's a game that, like, for instance, the way
but
you're
I
saying
absolutely love Borderlands though. So
Right.
it's I've got a high affinity for this game
because you've played it,
Yes.
you've experienced it, you went back and played it. I mean, you've got a history of playing this game,
I'm going to play the VR version. So-
right? So that's the weird thing about collector's editions is normally they come out so soon. It's like, I don't want to buy, like, World of Warcraft. It comes with Frostmourne. It's like a $5,000 copy of it. Not really, but in general. Now, World of Warcraft is a good one to talk about because my brother has the collector's editions of every expansion in the base game,
Okay.
Oh wow.
which are super expensive to buy if they were brand new.
Justifiable for him though. He plays it all the time.
That is true. That is true. That is the only thing he buys and plays, so it makes sense. For me, like, I own one collector's edition, but I literally bought the game, and then somebody else just gave me their stuff that came with the collector's edition. So
Oh, bonus.
they did stuff like it came with WoW TCG cards. That I can't remember if they were exclusive or not. I don't think they were.
Yeah, I don't remember there being any exclusive cards like that. So
Yeah, I think it did come with an exclusive loot card, but the actual decks were just starter decks, I think.
Right.
I mean, it comes with art books. It comes with like the making of DVDs. So, I mean, it comes with a lot of cool stuff, which isn't really that necessary. I don't know. I kind of seem like I do like some of the DLC content that's exclusive if it's like, a set of armor or like an armor skin that you can apply because it's more of a status symbol in the game if it's an MMO
Right.
or like a multiplayer game.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. But yeah, for the most part, I'm not paying $300 for a game that comes with a replica of Thor's hammer or, whatever. But
Yeah.
Right.
Like I said, unless it's something I'm just really super in love with, and it probably be once. I'm not going to get 10 games collector's
every
editions.
time.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But I'm a super sucker for art books, unfortunately. So
Actually, going back to board game ones, they do a lot of art books as well. Not sure if you've seen those around.
no.
Yeah.
Well, I know they have art books, but do they come with the collector's edition or are they separate purchases?
I believe they're usually add-ons and
Yeah, for like Kickstarters and stuff.
typically.
One video game that I remember buying was Chrono Cross, and it came with a clock, like an actual clock. See, the reason I like that stuff is because I don't have a lot of knickknacks. Thank you for the Funko Pop.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of knickknacks. I want to be able to interact with everything I purchase. This clock, first off, I love clocks, but it's like the clock from Chrono Cross or something, and it's in my bathroom. I still use it today.
Huh.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. I like usable stuff. Like if it was, a statue, but it was also hold your cell phone, like as a nightstand. You could plug it in and maybe you plug your USB into it and then it just extends to there so you can charge your phone on it. That would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Dope. Anyway, I don't have anything else.
No, that's
Yeah.
Cool. Final thoughts? Nothing else?
spend that money.
Yeah.
The only other thing I mentioned in here, I guess, the Tiny Epic Games, they have more like Kickstarter exclusive, not really collector's editions. They always have these little mini expansions they come with.
You typically can get those afterwards anyway as well.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like mini expansions. I don't like full-blown expansions like Swordcrafter. That's crazy. That's too much content for being exclusive.
Right.
That's Rising Sun territory right there. But anyway, that is collector's editions. Let us know what your favorite collector's editions are at MeepleCore@gmail.com or hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, one of those three.